afternoon, everybody. Here we are at the studio again with Professor Carlson, Dr. Chimanova, and students from different departments, and Ayperi Bekmirzaeva from English Literature and Language Department, Munara Azimbekova from Translation Department, and me, myself. And today we are going to discuss and talk about different topics again. Everything we spoke here is about teaching language. Teaching language with different sources, with different methods and with different means. But first of all, today we are going to talk about the movie Jane Eyre. We have shown that a couple of weeks before, I believe. And then we go into some other topics related to language teaching and literature and movies. But first of all, we would like to know that we have two new students here from two different departments. And first of all, I would like you to introduce yourself very briefly. So we go into Q&As.
Hello.
Ayperi, right?
Yes, my name is Ayperi. I am the first year student from the English Language and Literature Department. And I'm going to graduate this year.
You are going to graduate this year?
Yes.
So you are going to be a future teacher, right?
Sure.
Do you plan to be a teacher?
Of course.
Good. So we have a new teacher.
New teacher.
Okay, anything else? That's it for now. Munara?
Hello, I am Munara. I'm the first year student from Kyrgyz English Simultaneous Translation Department. So it's just the beginning of my student life.
No, you have started student life for many years ago.
No, I mean
the university. You don't count that the prep school?
Yes, because this year was with my parents, and now I live in my own way.
Oh.
That's why it's another life for me.
That's very interesting. First year student and last year student.
Yes.
And in between, a very experienced lecturer. Okay, Professor Carlson, you were not here with us for a couple of weeks.
Right.
As a matter of fact, we missed you a lot.
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you. It's nice to be missed.
And would you please tell us about your trip exchange program
Yeah, sure.
to Poland, right?
To Czech Republic.
Czech Republic,
Czech
I'm sorry.
Republic. Yes, the Monash University would like to engage in a exchange program with Charles University in Prague, and I was the first person to go there and actually teach a course. I taught a seminar on Central Asia, historical, economic, political aspects of Central Asian countries. It was a survey course. I had 5 graduate students. One graduate student was American. He had lived in Kyrgyzstan for 6 years, and he would like to come back. And he said he taught English, and I think some of the students may remember him, Chris. Do you remember Chris? Chris Weed? Chris Weed.
Yes, I think I heard.
He was in the Peace Corps, and he taught. Now he's a student at Prague, Charles University, Prague, in the International Relations Department. This is where I was teaching. So they would like to establish a exchange program with Monash University. They're in the process of doing this. The papers are on the rector's office, Karlovy, Charles University. What they need is one more department to sponsor the exchange program. The social sciences are sponsoring it, but they need the sponsorship of the humanities department. So they're waiting for this, and then the rector will sign the exchange agreement. It's already been signed here, but in Prague they're waiting for it.
Is this your second time or first time to Czech Republic?
I lived there for 10 years.
No, before,
What?
after you moved here. You've been there before?
Yes.
That's how I remember, yeah?
I lived there 10 years when I was working for Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty.
Good, thank you very much.
How's it, Tick Radio?
Thank you, just very brief.
So it's like going home.
Informative
After service.
knowledge for us. And I would like to start with Dr. Chimanova, if you don't mind. Because we're going to talk about Jane Eyre. the movie shown a couple of weeks ago. And since Dr. Chimanova is the part of curriculum in language and literature department, she might tell us a lot about the movie and the style. Dr. Chimanova, would you please tell us about the movie part, the movie version of the novel? I know you just mastered the novel very much, Jane Eyre. And is there a difference between the movie version and the novel version? I mean, between these two versions?
Okay.
I believe there is.
Yes, there is. We watched this movie, I think, about 2 weeks ago, and it was not a new film for me because we watched it last year with fourth-year students when we had
Same version?
same version. Yes, the same version. It was the class which was devoted to literary criticism, and I wanted to make students see the difference between a movie and a novel. And after that, they were writing their critical essay. And yes, there is a difference, of course. But after watching movie, I think most of students, some of them, they changed their mind. And they said that some maybe notions became clear for them. And I think that, of course, and they liked that lesson when we just compared a novel with a movie.
So I'm sorry for the interruption. They might be thinking that watching the movie might be easier than reading the novel.
Yes, might be, but
That's
of
why
course,
that might be the main reason, probably.
yes,
Had the
but we
students-
watched it after reading.
Had the
Yes.
students read the novel before they watched
Yes,
it? Okay.
they read.
In the novel, it's in the first person, right? Or
Yes.
perhaps one of the first novels written in the first person. How does the producer adapt this to film? Is it flashbacks? Does he use flashbacks? Is it technique?
Yes, during the lesson, you mean?
The film.
In the film.
How does he adapt the first person, which is used in the novel,
Yeah.
to the film?
But in the novel, it is also used as a
Also first person?
Yes, first person. Yes.
Yeah, and
Yes.
flashback is a kind of technique and
Sort of
used in the
flashbacks.
movie version, yeah.
Yes.
Because the protagonist always goes back to the old and the previous memories, right?
Yes, previous memories about the past.
And what if they didn't read the novel before they watched the movie?
I think it is useless
Yep.
if they didn't
think so.
read the novel and just watching a movie. It was it had another aims.
Another thing, Mr. Carlson, I don't know, what is your opinion about this? Do you think we have to have the movie version of the novels in American literature and British literature as not as part of the extracurricular activity, but
Part of the curriculum.
part of the real part of the curriculum?
Curriculum, yes.
And
Absolutely.
anytime, they
Absolutely.
have to be responsible for the movies, right?
Yeah.
In fact,
Why
I
not
think-
we think
yeah,
about that for
yeah.
coming years maybe, and not exactly I'm talking about the transition students, but talking about the students, their benefits, their advantages they can get from the movie version of the novels. So do you think it is possible?
How do you introduce a subject into the curriculum? Has to go through the Senate and other bodies, huh?
Literature, maybe
I
literature
think
and
first a
cinema.
proposal, and then present it to the Senate or the.
It is.
Who
It takes
designed the
because
curriculum?
in this country the curriculum cannot be changed very easily.
Right,
Yeah.
that's a
And
problem.
lately, and a couple of years ago, they changed in accordance with the regulations in this country.
Yes, ministry.
But what I'm trying to tell, why not we are giving them a chance, the students. Let's say if we have 4 hours of teaching of literature, let's say novel, why not we give them certain novels, very classical or modern novels,
Yeah.
the movie version of the novels for 2 hours in here at the movie theater, and then discuss it later.
Yes.
Now, but it is not shown in the curriculum itself because it is really difficult to change the curriculum.
Yeah. In fact, Joe Boneggia asked me to bring these films from Germany, and I brought Jane Eyre I was the one who
Yes,
brought this,
That's why we
including Oliver Twist. We have that in film form. The Old Man and the Sea, all classic works
Classic,
adapted
yeah.
to movies. And what's the other one? Moby Dick.
Moby Dick, yes.
Moby Dick we have. Yep.
Okay, and I would like to go into these two young ladies, if you don't mind. And classical question, we always ask the students who just join us here for the first time, what do they think about using the future movies in terms of teaching the language, I mean English language teaching? This question is for both of you. What do you think about this?
In my opinion, maybe to show movies in to students is very important because they can learn more things they had never known before. And as I remember, in my preparation year, we also watched the movies, and with them we can learn new vocabulary, and also took many important things for ourselves, and also it was enjoyable, and we can through this we can maybe can improve our critical thinking about that movie, and it is important to show movies.
Did you join our movie watching session at all?
Could you repeat?
Did you join our movie watching session in movie theater?
No.
Okay, next time you join that so you understand what we mean. And I know you are just, it is very objective because she has never been to our movie watching session, so she doesn't know exactly what it is. But she is giving a very objective ideas, yeah. Thank you very much. And we are doing that for the last 12 weeks. Okay, and not 12, more than 12 maybe, because we're just showing them the 11th movie yesterday, right? Okay, Munara, it is your opinion, just showing the future movies in terms of teaching a language.
I think learning language is very difficult, and watching movie is very helpful because movies, they show not only just some pictures and audio, no, they show cultural features, they show different kind of
Lifestyles,
lifestyle,
traditions.
yes, and traditions, national values. Of course, it's very important. Also, I think that watching movies is really helpful for your vocabulary. I mean, when you watch, you just watch and you think about it, and you know a lot of words like jargonese and idioms. It's a third language, and it's very important, I think.
But can you use these vocabulary items in speech after the movie? Important thing is to use them,
Yes,
as you speak.
I try, but it's a little bit difficult.
What's the best way to learn new vocabulary? So you see it in the movie, you see it in context with the situations, the cultural situation. How do you retain it?
For example, when I watch movie, I always have a sheet of paper, so I write down it, and then I just maybe came and I come home and just look through all of the words, the idioms, and mostly after watching, I also one more time I also watch with my own, but. Janae, I didn't meet.
You do the exercises that we have in the handouts.
For sure, yes. Thank you very much for your handouts because it's very useful, and I liked it very much.
Are all the students doing this? Are they looking at the handouts and
Yes, for sure.
working at home before the movie and after the movie, right?
Not before, but after watching.
She's the only student who just thanked us for handout.
By the
We
way,
had never had any thanks from or appreciation from students so far.
That's right.
it means that we are doing right. Yeah. But
No, your project is very important. Just we don't value maybe now, but I think in the future we will
It's
understand
quite
the
new for the
importance.
university as well. Don't worry about it.
How can we motivate more students to come to the film?
this is a good question.
Yes,
next year.
Some have conflicts, class conflicts. How can we reschedule, suggest rescheduling the sessions, more suitable time, or?
Yes,
How
most
can we-
suitable time because at 4 o'clock some students have lessons, as I know. It's the first reason, and second reason, I think maybe some of them just afraid that they will come and will not understand everything.
But
Maybe
some students have said that they've seen this movie, they don't want to see it again. It's not their favorite movie.
Yeah, but if they don't, if I'm afraid of, if they don't understand while they are watching the movie. I've been living in this country for 4 years, even though I don't understand 100% of Kyrgyz. So I'm still living here. I survive. And it's going to be a problem. It's not going to be a problem, I believe. And as Professor Carlson told here, we have to make it more useful for them. Because they're going to take the advantage of that. This is the quite new project for this year. And we were thinking about to start this kind of project. And anyway, you would say something, right?
I just wanted
Dr.
to
Chimanova?
say, yes, about, let's say, about using vocabulary. Yes, as Mr. Carlson said, it is maybe one part to watch a movie, yes, and just go home
Yes.
and just do nothing. But if you just use it in real life, this is, I think, the
Right, exactly.
final result. And by the way, today, during the speaking lesson, my students, they mentioned about homestay father from
Or
yesterday's movie.
Stay home, yes.
Yeah, stay home.
Stay home
Yes,
father.
Stay home father, yes.
Stay home.
Stay at
dads.
home
It
father.
really,
Yeah.
I don't know, they really like that.
And
Stay
another
home
thing, it was I learned something.
These are
Yeah.
I
modern
learned
expressions that are,
Facebook's generation.
yes, Facebook.
And I'm going to write an article about Facebook generation.
Wow, really?
See, and it was very effective for me because I have never heard of that. I didn't hear that it was a terminology used recently in the world.
And this
So-
is a recent movie, so all these new
Yeah.
terminologies were
Sure.
used in the.
2015.
And I think movies and the conversation in the movies may help them a lot about improving their pronunciation, maybe much more, right?
Intonation also.
Yeah. What do you think
I
about
think
this?
movies can help to improve our listening skills because while listening, while watching movie, we can listen and a right pronunciation, how it's pronounced in English and how we can pronounce it in our language because there might be some difficulties with pronunciation, and while maybe after listening we can learn how to pronounce it, and
Brings
it
up
helps
something
us.
else. Asking Munara, you saw the movie yesterday. You saw the movie yesterday?
No, she was not there because
It had
she
no
told me.
undertitles. Were the students able to understand? It had no undertitles, this movie yesterday.
yesterday
It was the
there
first
were no
movie we
titles.
No
showed
subtitle.
with no
From now
subtitles.
on, there won't be any subtitle in the movies. By the way, Professor Carlson, you didn't say anything about Jane Eyre to us.
Oh, okay.
What-
No,
Your opinion,
no, the
please.
novel itself has probably revolutionized fiction literature.
It's a fiction, yeah.
It's a standard work in all curriculum, English language departments, I think. And it really revolutionized the whole, and in the film, the task of the producer was really to capture the feeling Charlotte Bronte had when she wrote the novel. And this was a real challenge, What did she feel when she wrote this? How did she feel about feminism, about women's rights, about morality, about religion? All these aspects come up in the novel. All these topics. How the girl developed into womanhood, how she preserved her morality, even though she was, associated with what's his name, Rochester.
Yes,
Mr. Rochester.
Is the author of the novel? It seems that
Bronte.
she's French
She's a
descendant.
Yes, she was sister. They're sisters, Charlotte and Emily
and one more.
Bronte.
Yes.
Emily, yeah, Emily Bronte.
This is Charlotte who.
Yes, it's a Charlotte Brontes.
But the novel was set when, about the time of King George III, right, in the 1700s,
I think, yeah.
in northern England.
Northern,
So it brings out some of the customs and
which were typical for that
were
time.
typical at that time.
What could we tell us? Tell us about the character's plot and the aspects of the movie in terms of language,
In terms of language.
Yeah.
Stylistics.
stylistics. Yeah.
Stylistics, oh yes, I think that it is a sample of let's say, classical work, which is very full of colorful language. And I remember that we used this text for many times in order to make students make literary analysis, stylistic analysis, and good, you know.
And one of the first novels, it was done in the first person. 'Cause
Yes.
previously, they were only narratives, stories. But she actually wrote the novel in the first
In the first
person, and
person.
it's, you know, revolutionized literature. I think.
Okay.
And I don't know exactly it could be done or not. For the coming years, the selection of the movies about literature, which means novels, maybe the department can do that, right?
Yes.
At least 5 or 10 movies.
We have Oliver Twist
And
in the department, right?
Yeah.
Oliver Twist.
Yes.
And,
That's all I think, yes, Gone with the Wind. We
Gone
did.
with, and I brought some other novels by female writers, movies written by female writers. I think I gave 3 or 4 movies to Chopin Age. Not only Jane Austen, some of her novels.
But you know, I think that there is one more version of Jane Eyre, yeah? Oldest.
Yes, yes. I think there's several versions.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Because I remember one more. Which was, I don't know,
Oh.
much brighter.
I read that novel many and many years ago. I won't tell you the date.
I also read this novel, but 6 years ago.
In English, yes?
I think we
actually
don't have
required.
much
It's
time to talk
required.
about the advantages and disadvantages of using movies in terms of translation. Mostly simultaneous translation. Maybe next time we're gonna go on that. And anything you add, final remarks for this part of episode?
I would be interested in seeing how people actually dub the movies into the languages. How do they dub them into Russian? What sort of techniques do they use? Who does this? Either in Kyrgyz, some movies have been adapted into
Yes,
Kyrgyz.
yes,
Who
yes.
does this and how do they do this?
Oh.
Is there a committee or? They don't
About
use, they don't
committee?
use you, they don't use students nor
No.
our teachers. I just wondered who.
I think once just I watched on TV, after the film, they said about translation agency, some kind of
Oh,
that.
so it's an age, it should be done here. I mean, students should be
But
able
I
to do
think
this.
for sure there is no any committee who just who is,
I mean,
which
it
is
should be done
responsible.
in our, simultaneous
Why
translation
not? Yes,
department.
it will be
This would be a
wonderful.
good project.
Of course, yes.
They should,
By the way,
they should use.
I don't know exactly.
facilities here.
Do they? They have script translation. They should have, because script translation is very famous and common
Yes.
in the world. But I know some students of our university, they just did some script translation a couple of years ago, movies from Turkish into Kyrgyz, from Kyrgyz into Turkish, vice versa. I don't know exactly. Okay, anything else to add?
May I say something?
Yeah,
Sure.
First of all,
this is not classroom.
once more, I want to say thank you for all of your job. You come every Wednesday and you spend your time with us. It's very important for us. Thank you. And the second one is, when I watch movies, I pay attention to accents. I mean, how they speak, because for me it's very important to know.
Dialects.
Dialect, there's different kind of dialects, and because as interpreter, I have interpreted everything, as you know, and that's why I just want to say thank you, because it's really, really, really important.
I'll try to convey your thanks and appreciation to the audience. And thank you very much. And today we have finished our conversation and talk about the movie and using movies in terms of translation and teaching foreign languages, let's say. And next week, same time, maybe same date, and we're going to have another talk with some other new students in here in the studio. Thank you very much.